I'm Mike from St. Thomas Economic Development, here with another little update from St. Thomas City Hall. Okay, we're back once again with Steve Peters in front of the beautiful map prepared by Mr. Mike Noon. And Steve, we were hoping this week you could help us continue the story heading east as we see some of these industrial parcels of land brought into the city of St. Thomas.
Well, as I talked before, the railways really transformed St. Thomas, but it also made St. Thomas dependent on the railways. We didn't have a lot of industrial growth, and the railways, were up and down based on the economy. And the city fathers and women, but largely the city fathers, decided that the city needed to start to grow and develop some industrial lands. So the city itself, we had our boundaries that had been established, but we needed to grow. And this first major acquisition was in 1922 of this industrial land. So right here, this is the intersection of First Ave and Talbot. So about where 1922 is where Walmart is. And so this is this area, and this is where the old St. Thomas Public Golf Course. But this industrial land was acquired for growth, and then we added another parcel of land in 1931 that took us almost over to Burwell Road at that point, and south of Edward Street. And in 1931 was our first real industry that came in, and that was the old Canada Vitrified. They made clay tiles and pipes. So we started to grow and acquire industrial land. And as the railways really started into decline in the late 1940s, early 1950s with the beginning of dieselization, the requirements to have the big railway shops and all the men to look after the equipment just became non-existent. So the city then became really aggressive as to what are we going to try and attract to bring new jobs into our community. And the focus became the automotive sector. We were seeing a lot of large growth in automobiles at the time, with number 3 highway running right through St. Thomas. We didn't have the St. Thomas bypass until the 1980s. So St. Thomas was part of the major highway section. We were centrally located between Buffalo and Detroit. And the auto sector really started to come along, and you can start to see these numerous annexations of land in the east end of St. Thomas that, were allowing us as a city to grow, in the 50s and more in the 50s. And this really took us right to the edge of Centennial Ave. So it really expanded the boundaries, but that gave us the industrial land to grow. But one of the things that we didn't have was, again, we were running out of residential land. Some development had taken place down in the south end in the 1950s. We get down into this area down in here in the 1950s. Where the hospital gets constructed and it starts to grow. But we were out of land. So in 1961, a massive annexation of land took place. The area where I grew up in the north end of St. Thomas above Waterworks Park had been in what I call the Locks community. It was annexed in 1961. All the lands east of First Avenue in areas that were known as the Yarmouth Heights, that all became part of St. Thomas. So you can see the massive growth and expansion that took place, and those lands lasted us for quite a period of time. But even then, back into the 1990s, and under the leadership of the late Joanne Brooks at the time, the city was able to annex in this area sort of to the east of the Elgin Mall and bring that into the city. And then some additional lands came in the mid-1990s, again with the good work of Councillor Brooks at the time, with a large expansion to the west. The first time that city in our history in 1995 had the opportunity to go west, young man, so to speak, because really our growth had been to the east. And now we're finally starting to see here out on Sunset Drive some of the development on the old Dodd farm of some of that land. But then as we continued to grow, you can see with the large annexations and with the announcement of PowerCo, that again, we had the requirement for a large swath of land. And you can see in here, these are some of the smaller annexations. In this area, all has grown in the Dalewood Metals. This is Burwell Road, Ron McNeil line up there, Highbury right here. And we had this growth, but these lands were all being filled in, and we were really out of industrial land. So then we had that large acquisition in 2023 of approximately 1,500 acres that's going to help to facilitate the PowerCo site. One of the challenges that St. Thomas has got is that what I like to call the donut around St. Thomas. We have large swaths of land out on Centennial Ave, out in the Lyndhurst area that aren't actually part of the city of St. Thomas. You know, you ask those individuals, where do you live? They say they live in the city of St. Thomas. But let's just say with this land that city has available and the other lands up the Fingal Hill, we're going to be in good shape from a residential perspective for a long time to come, and certainly in good shape from an industrial land perspective.
So Steve, thanks for taking us through this further development of the city of St. Thomas up to the modern day. But I was wondering, where's your house on this map?
I grew up right here above Waterworks Park on Tecumseh Street. My parents started to build the house in 1960 in Yarmouth Township, and when they moved in 1961, they moved into a house in the city of St. Thomas, and that house cost $13,500 to build with a 2-car garage. So it was a great place to grow up, having Waterworks Park as my backyard on Tecumseh Street.
Wow. At $13,500, those days are long gone. But certainly lots more room to grow in the city of St. Thomas. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and stay tuned for another little update coming soon.
And don't forget, smash that subscribe button.